भारतीय नागरिक सुरक्षा संहिता 2023 Chapter 28 Provisions as to accused persons of unsound mind 367 Procedure in case of accused being person of unsound mind 1. When a magistrate holding an inquiry has reason to believe that the person against whom the inquiry is being held is a person of unsound mind and consequently incapable of making his defense, the magistrate shall inquire into the fact of such unsoundness of mind, and shall cause such person to be examined by the civil surgeon of the district or such other medical officer as the state government may direct, and thereupon shall examine such surgeon or other medical officer as a witness, and shall reduce the examination to writing. 2. If the civil surgeon finds the accused to be a person of unsound mind, he shall refer such person to a psychiatrist or clinical psychologist of government hospital or government medical college for care, treatment and prognosis of the condition, and the psychiatrist or clinical psychologist, as the case may be, shall inform the magistrate whether the accused is suffering from unsoundness of mind or intellectual disability, provided that if the accused is aggrieved by the information given by the psychiatric or clinical psychologist, as the case may be, to the magistrate, he may prefer an appeal before the medical board, which shall consist of a head of psychiatry unit in the nearest government hospital, and b. a faculty member in psychiatry in the nearest government medical college. 3. Pending such examination and inquiry, the magistrate may deal with such person in accordance with the provisions of Section 369. 4. If the magistrate is informed that the person referred to in subsection 2 is a person of unsound mind, the magistrate shall further determine whether the unsoundness of mind renders the accused incapable of entering defense, and if the accused is found so incapable, the magistrate shall record a finding to that effect, and shall examine the record of evidence produced by the prosecution, and after hearing the advocate of the accused but without questioning the accused, if he finds that no prima facie case is made out against the accused, he shall, instead of postponing the inquiry, discharge the accused and deal with him in the manner provided under Section 369. Provided that if the magistrate finds that a prima facie case is made out against the accused in respect of whom a finding of unsoundness of mind is arrived at, he shall postpone the proceeding for such period, as in the opinion of the psychiatrist or clinical psychologist, is required for the treatment of the accused, and order the accused to be dealt with as provided under Section 369. 5. If the magistrate is informed that the person referred to in subsection 2 is a person with intellectual disability, the magistrate shall further determine whether the intellectual disability renders the accused incapable of entering defense, and if the accused is found so incapable, the magistrate shall order closure of the inquiry and deal with the accused in the manner provided under Section 369. 368. Procedure in case of person of unsound mind tried before court. 1. If at the trial of any person before a magistrate or court of session, it appears to the magistrate or court that such person is of unsound mind and consequently incapable of making his defense. The magistrate or court shall, in the first instance, try the fact of such unsoundness of mind and incapacity, and if the magistrate or court, after considering such medical and other evidence as may be produced before him or it, is satisfied of the fact, he or it shall record a finding to that effect and shall postpone further proceedings in the case. 2. If during trial, the magistrate or court of session finds the accused to be of unsound mind, he or it shall refer such person to a psychiatrist or clinical psychologist for care and treatment. And the psychiatrist or clinical psychologist, as the case may be, shall report to the magistrate or court whether the accused is suffering from unsoundness of mind. Provided that if the accused is aggrieved by the information given by the psychiatrist or clinical psychologist, as the case may be, to the magistrate, he may prefer an appeal before the medical board which shall consist of a head of psychiatry unit in the nearest government hospital, and b. a faculty member in psychiatry in the nearest government medical college. 3. If the magistrate or court is informed that the person referred to in subsection 2 is a person of unsound mind, the magistrate or court shall further determine whether the unsoundness of mind renders the accused incapable of entering defense, and if the accused is found so incapable, the magistrate or court shall record a finding to that effect and shall examine the record of evidence produced by the prosecution, and after hearing the advocate of the accused but without questioning the accused, if the magistrate or court finds that no prima facie case is made out against the accused, he or it shall, instead of postponing the trial, discharge the accused and deal with him in the manner provided under Section 369. Provided that if the magistrate or court finds that a prima facie case is made out against the accused in respect of whom a finding of unsoundness of mind is arrived at, he shall postpone the trial for such period, as in the opinion of the psychiatrist or clinical psychologist, is required for the treatment of the accused. 4. If the magistrate or court finds that a prima facie case is made out against the accused and he is incapable of entering defense by reason of intellectual disability, he or it shall not hold the trial and order the accused to be dealt with in accordance with Section 369. 369. Release of person of unsound mind pending investigation or trial. 1. Whenever a person, if found under Section 367 or Section 368 to be incapable of entering defense by reason of unsoundness of mind or intellectual disability, the magistrate or court, as the case may be, shall, whether the case is one in which bail may be taken or not, order release of such person on bail. Provided that the accused is suffering from unsoundness of mind or intellectual disability which does not mandate inpatient treatment and a friend or relative undertakes to obtain regular outpatient psychiatric treatment from the nearest medical facility and to prevent from doing injury to himself or to any other person. 2. If the case is one in which, in the opinion of the magistrate or court, as the case may be, bail cannot be granted or if an appropriate undertaking is not given. He or it shall order the accused to be kept in such a place where regular psychiatric treatment can be provided, and shall report the action taken to the state government. Provided that no order for the detention of the accused in a public mental health establishment shall be made otherwise than in accordance with such rules as the state government may have made under the Mental Health Care Act, 2017, 10 of 2017. 3. Whenever a person is found under Section 367 or Section 368 to be incapable of entering defense by reason of unsoundness of mind or intellectual disability, the magistrate or court, as the case may be, shall, keeping in view the nature of the act committed and the extent of unsoundness of mind or intellectual disability, further determine if the release of the accused can be ordered, provided that if on the basis of medical opinion or opinion of a specialist, the magistrate or court, as the case may be, decide to order discharge of the accused, as provided under Section 367 or Section 368. Such release may be ordered, if sufficient security is given that the accused shall be prevented from doing injury to himself or to any other person. b. If the magistrate or court, as the case may be, is of the opinion that discharge of the accused cannot be ordered, the transfer of the accused to a residential facility for persons with unsoundness of mind or intellectual disability may be ordered, wherein the accused may be provided care and appropriate education and training. 370. Resumption of inquiry or trial. 1. Whenever an inquiry or a trial is postponed under Section 367 or Section 368, the magistrate or court, as the case may be, may at any time after the person concerned has ceased to be of unsound mind, resume the inquiry or trial and require the accused to appear or be brought before such magistrate or court. 2. When the accused has been released under Section 369, and the sureties for his appearance produce him to the officer whom the magistrate or court appoints in this behalf, the certificate of such officer that the accused is capable of making his defense shall be receivable in evidence. 371. Procedure on accused appearing before magistrate or court. 1. If, when the accused appears or is again brought before the magistrate or court, as the case may be, the magistrate or court considers him capable of making his defense, the inquiry or trial shall proceed. 2. If the magistrate or court considers the accused to be still incapable of making his defense, the magistrate or court shall act according to the provisions of Section 367 or Section 368. As the case may be, and if the accused is found to be of unsound mind and consequently incapable of making his defense, shall deal with such accused in accordance with the provisions of Section 369. 372. When accused appears to have been of sound mind. When the accused appears to be of sound mind at the time of inquiry or trial, and the magistrate is satisfied from the evidence given before him that there is reason to believe that the accused committed an act, which, if he had been of sound mind, would have been an offense, and that he was, at the time when the act was committed, by reason of unsoundness of mind, incapable of knowing the nature of the act or that it was wrong or contrary to law. The magistrate shall proceed with the case, and, if the accused ought to be tried by the Court of Session, commit him for trial before the Court of Session. 373. Judgment of acquittal on ground of unsoundness of mind. Whenever any person is acquitted upon the ground that, at the time at which he is alleged to have committed an offense, he was, by reason of unsoundness of mind, incapable of knowing the nature of the act alleged as constituting the offense, or that it was wrong or contrary to law, the finding shall state specifically whether he committed the act or not. 374. Person acquitted on ground of unsoundness of mind to be detained in safe custody. 1. Whenever the finding states that the accused person committed the act alleged, the magistrate or court before whom or which the trial has been held, shall, if such act would, but for the incapacity found, have constituted an offense, order such person to be detained in safe custody in such place and manner as the magistrate or court thinks fit, or b. Order such person to be delivered to any relative or friend of such person. 2. No order for the detention of the accused in a public mental health establishment shall be made under clause a of subsection 1, otherwise than in accordance with such rules as the state government may have made under the Mental Health Care Act 2017, 10 of 2017. 3. No order for the delivery of the accused to a relative or friend shall be made under clause b of subsection 1, except upon the application of such relative or friend and on his giving security to the satisfaction of the magistrate or court that the person delivered shall be properly taken care of and prevented from doing injury to himself or to any other person. b. Be produced for the inspection of such officer, and at such times and places, as the state government may direct. 4. The magistrate or court shall report to the state government the action taken under subsection 1. 375. Power of state government to empower officer in charge to discharge. The state government may empower the officer in charge of the jail in which a person is confined under the provisions of Section 369 or Section 374 to discharge all or any of the functions of K. Inspector General of Prisons under Section 376 or Section 377. 376. Procedure where prisoner of unsound mind is reported capable of making his defense. If a person is detained under the provisions of subsection 2 of Section 369, and in the case of a person detained in a jail, the Inspector General of Prisons, or in the case of a person detained in a public mental health establishment, the Mental Health Review Board constituted under the Mental Health Care Act, 2017, 10 of 2017, shall certify that, in his or their opinion, such person is capable of making his defense, he shall be taken before the magistrate or court, as the case may be, at such time as the magistrate or court appoints. and the magistrate or court shall deal with such person under the provisions of Section 371, and the certificate of such Inspector General or visitors as aforesaid shall be receivable as evidence. 369, or Section 374, and such Inspector General or visitors shall certify that, in his or their judgment, he may be released without danger of his doing injury to himself or to any other person. The state government may thereupon order him to be released, or to be detained in custody, or to be transferred to a public mental health establishment if he has not been already sent to such establishment, and, in case it orders him to be transferred to a public mental health establishment, may appoint a commission, consisting of a judicial and 2 medical officers. 2. Such commission shall make a formal inquiry into the state of mind of such person, take such evidence as is necessary, and shall report to the state government, which may order his release or detention as it thinks fit. 378. Delivery of person of unsound mind to care of relative or friend. 1. Whenever any relative or friend of any person detained under the provisions of Section 369 or Section 374 desires that he shall be delivered to his care and custody, the state government may, upon the application of such relative or friend and on his giving security to the satisfaction of such state government, that the person delivered shall a. Be properly taken care of and prevented from doing injury to himself or to any other person. b. Be produced for the inspection of such officer, and at such times and places, as the state government may direct. c. In the case of a person detained under subsection 2 of Section 369, be produced when required before such magistrate or court, order such person to be delivered to such relative or friend. 2. If the person so delivered is accused of any offense, the trial of which has been postponed by reason of his being of unsound mind and incapable of making his defense, and the inspecting officer referred to in clause b of subsection 1 certifies at any time to the magistrate or court that such person is capable of making his defense, such magistrate or court shall call upon the relative or friend to whom such accused was delivered to produce him before the magistrate or court, and upon such production the magistrate or court shall proceed in accordance with the provisions of Section 371, and the certificate of the inspecting officer shall be receivable as evidence. Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, 2023. Chapter 28, Provisions as to Offences Affecting the Administration of Justice. 379. Procedure in cases mentioned in Section 215. 1. When, upon an application made to it in this behalf or otherwise, any court is of opinion that it is expedient in the interests of justice that an inquiry should be made into any offense referred to in clause b of subsection 1 of Section 215, which appears to have been committed in or in relation to a proceeding in that court or, as the case may be, in respect of a document produced or given in evidence in a proceeding in that court. Such court may, after such preliminary inquiry, if any, as it thinks necessary, A. Record a finding to that effect. B. Make a complaint thereof in writing. C. Send it to a magistrate of the first class having jurisdiction. D. Take sufficient security for the appearance of the accused before such magistrate, or if the alleged offense is non-bailable and the court thinks it necessary so to do, send the accused in custody to such magistrate, and a. Bind over any person to appear and give evidence before such magistrate. 2. The power conferred on a court by subsection 1, in respect of an offense may, in any case where that court has neither made a complaint under subsection 1, in respect of that offense nor rejected an application for the making of such complaint, be exercised by the court to which such former court is subordinate within the meaning of subsection 4 of section 215. 3. A complaint made under this section shall be signed, a. Where the court making the complaint is a high court, by such officer of the court as the court may appoint, b. In any other case, by the presiding officer of the court or by such officer of the court as the court may authorize in writing in this behalf. 4. In this section, court has the same meaning as in section 215. 380. Appeal. 1. Any person on whose application any court other than a high court has refused to make a complaint under subsection 1 or subsection 2 of section 379, or against whom such a complaint has been made by such court, may appeal to the court to which such former court is subordinate within the meaning of subsection 4 of section 215, and the superior court may thereupon, after notice to the parties concerned, direct the withdrawal of the complaint, or, as the case may be, making of the complaint which such former court might have made under section 379, and, if it makes such complaint, the provisions of that section shall apply accordingly. 2. An order under this section, and subject to any such order, an order under section 379, shall be final, and shall not be subject to revision. 381. Power to order costs. Any court dealing with an application made to it for filing a complaint under section 379 or an appeal under section 380, shall have power to make such order as to costs as may be just. 382. Procedure of magistrate taking cognizance. 1. A magistrate to whom a complaint is made under section 379 or section 380 shall, notwithstanding anything contained in chapter 16, proceed, as far as may be, to deal with the case as if it were instituted on a police report. 2. Where it is brought to the notice of such magistrate, or of any other magistrate to whom the case may have been transferred, that an appeal is pending against the decision arrived at in the judicial proceeding out of which the matter has arisen, he may, if he thinks fit, at any stage, adjourn the hearing of the case until such appeal is decided. 383. Summary procedure for trial for giving false evidence. 1. If, at the time of delivery of any judgment or final order disposing of any judicial proceeding, A court of session or magistrate of the first class expresses an opinion to the effect that any witness appearing in such proceeding had knowingly or willfully given false evidence or had fabricated false evidence with the intention that such evidence should be used in such proceeding. It or he may, if satisfied that it is necessary and expedient in the interest of justice that the witness should be tried summarily for giving or fabricating, as the case may be, false evidence, take cognizance of the offense and may, after giving the offender a reasonable opportunity of showing cause why he should not be punished for such offense, try such offender summarily and sentence him to imprisonment for a term which may extend to 3 months, or to fine which may extend to 1,000 rupees, or with both. 2. In every such case the court shall follow, as nearly as may be practicable, the procedure prescribed for summary trials. 3. Nothing in this section shall affect the power of the court to make a complaint under Section 379 for the offense, where it does not choose to proceed under this section. 4. Where, after any action is initiated under subsection 1, it is made to appear to the court of session or magistrate of the first class that an appeal or an application for revision has been preferred or filed against the judgment or order in which the opinion referred to in that subsection has been expressed. It or he shall stay further proceedings of the trial until the disposal of the appeal or the application for revision, as the case may be. And thereupon the further proceedings of the trial shall abide by the results of the appeal or application for revision. 384. Procedure in certain cases of contempt. 1. When any such offense as is described in Section 210, Section 213, Section 214, Section 215 or Section 267 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, 2023 is committed in the view or presence of any civil, criminal, or revenue court, the court may cause the offender to be detained in custody, and may, at any time before the rising of the court on the same day, take cognizance of the offense and, after giving the offender a reasonable opportunity of showing cause why he should not be punished under this section, sentence the offender to fine not exceeding 1,000 rupees, and, in default of payment of fine, to simple imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 month, unless such fine be sooner paid. 2. In every such case the court shall record the fact constituting the offense, with the statement, if any, made by the offender, as well as the finding and sentence. 3. If the offense is under Section 267 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, 2023. The record shall show the nature and stage of the judicial proceeding in which the court interrupted or insulted was sitting, and the nature of the interruption or insult. 385. Procedure where court considers that case should not be dealt with under Section 384. 1. If the court in any case considers that a person accused of any of the offences referred to in Section 384 and committed in its view or presence should be imprisoned otherwise than in default of payment of fine, or that a fine exceeding 200 rupees should be imposed upon him, or such court is for any other reason of opinion that the case should not be disposed of under Section 384, Such Court. After recording the facts constituting the offense and the statement of the accused is hereinbefore provided, may forward the case to a magistrate having jurisdiction to try the same, and may require security to be given for the appearance of such person before such magistrate, or if sufficient security is not given, shall forward such person in custody to such magistrate. 2. The magistrate to whom any case is forwarded under this section shall proceed to deal with, as far as may be, as if it were instituted on a police report. 386. When registrar or sub-registrar to be deemed a civil court. When the state government so directs, any registrar or any sub-registrar appointed under the Registration Act, 1908, 16 of 1908, shall be deemed to be a civil court within the meaning of sections 384 and 385. 387. Discharge of offender on submission of apology. When any court has under section 384 adjudged an offender to punishment, or has under section 385 forwarded him to a magistrate for trial, for refusing or omitting to do anything which he was lawfully required to do or for any intentional insult or interruption, the court may, in its discretion, discharge the offender or remit the punishment on his submission to the order or requisition of such court, or on apology being made to its satisfaction. 388. Imprisonment or committal of person refusing to answer or produce document. If any witness or person called to produce a document or thing before a criminal court refuses to answer such questions as are put to him or to produce any document or thing in his possession or power which the court requires him to produce, and does not, after a reasonable opportunity has been given to him so to do, offer any reasonable excuse for such refusal, such court may, for reasons to be recorded in writing, sentence him to simple imprisonment, or by warrant under the hand of the presiding magistrate or judge commit him to the custody of an officer of the court for any term not exceeding 7 days. Unless in the meantime, such person consents to be examined and to answer, or to produce the document or thing, and in the event of his persisting in his refusal, he may be dealt with according to the provisions of section 384 or section 385. 389. Summary procedure for punishment for non-attendance by a witness in obedience to summons. 1. If any witness being summoned to appear before a criminal court is legally bound to appear at a certain place and time in obedience to the summons and without just excuse neglects or refuses to attend at that place or time or departs from the place where he has to attend before the time at which it is lawful for him to depart, and the court before which the witness is to appear is satisfied that it is expedient in the interests of justice that such a witness should be tried summarily, the court may take cognizance of the offense and after giving the offender an opportunity of showing cause why he should not be punished under this section, sentence him to fine not exceeding 500 rupees. 2. In every such case the court shall follow, as nearly as may be practicable, the procedure prescribed for summary trials. 390. Appeals from convictions under sections 383, 384, 388 and 389. 1. Any person sentenced by any court other than a high court under Section 383, Section 384, Section 388, or Section 389 may, notwithstanding anything contained in this Sanhita, appeal to the court to which decrees or orders made in such court are ordinarily appealable. 2. The provisions of Chapter 31 shall, so far as they are applicable, apply to appeals under this section, and the appellate court may alter or reverse the finding, or reduce or reverse the sentence appealed against. 3. An appeal from such conviction by a court of small causes shall lie to the Court of Session for the Sessions Division within which such court is situate. 4. An appeal from such conviction by any registrar or sub-registrar deemed to be a civil court by virtue of a direction issued under Section 386 shall lie to the Court of Session for the Sessions Division within which the office of such registrar or sub-registrar is situate. 391. Certain judges and magistrates not to try certain offences when committed before themselves except as provided in Sections 383, 384, 388 and 389. No judge of a criminal court, other than a judge of a high court, or magistrate shall try any person for any offence referred to in Section 215. When such offence is committed before himself or in contempt of his authority, or is brought under his notice as such judge or magistrate in the course of a judicial proceeding.